Well, hello, Danny. Welcome.
Hello, Kim, and welcome.
Thank
Because
you.
this may go on both channels. So
That's right. So this is Danny Shea. For those of you guys who don't know, he's a shamanic practitioner. He's also a tarot reader, and he has his own channel called Bathrobe Tarot. Now, what's interesting, Danny, and I love your Sundays with Spirit. I never miss that. I mean, I don't know how long you've been doing it, but as long as I remember, I haven't missed it. So it's beautiful. Thank you for sharing your light with us.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been doing that almost. I have to go back and look because I think it's when I started my channel, I did that. And don't ask me why I thought I should. It's Sunday. I'm going to do Sunday with Spirit. It was so. But yeah, that is my favorite, my favorite time to do that.
It's really nice. It is. Sometimes I listen to it when I'm walking, or sometimes I listen to it just, doing yoga or whatever. So yeah, I always enjoy
it's not meant to be listened to doing yoga. Or laundry. Or laundry.
Well, it's great anyway. So thank you for sharing that. And I know today we want to talk about discernment.
Yeah.
It's because I think that I hear about this in the community a lot. Like, how do you tell? How can you know if a spirit is right, or even listening to certain music, right? Sometimes there's maybe what do you call it? The underlying hypnosis.
Yes.
It happens sometimes. Or even watching certain videos, it's how do we know what's really good for us?
How about playing with or using the Ouija board?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that scares me to death. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm like, oh no. And I don't know if that's from my mom going, no. And my mom was she was pretty psychic. And she, even though when at that time, it was kind of shoved under the rug, she didn't talk about it. But yeah, she would just go, no. I mean, that was like a hard, fast rule. No, you don't play with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, she would do other things though. So yeah, how do we know that the Ouija board's bad and the pendulum is good? Or
it's not always good.
Is not good. How do we know?
Right, good question.
And tarot cards. Oh, the devil's work. How do we know?
Well, that's a very good question, because we have our own innate soul that knows everything. Really?
Yes.
And we all come from the light. We are from the light that has no beginning and no end. And we walk through this journey of life in that place. And if we can reach it through our own heart, that place of light, we will know when there's something that comes against us that doesn't match.
Yeah.
So how do you get to know that place of light?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. What do you think?
Maybe it's by looking at the dark, and then you get to see the contrast of the light and the dark.
Yes. The duality of being on earth, correct?
Being a what?
Oh, duality. Duality on earth that we live in.
Yes.
And maybe that's why the dark is here. But I know, and I've said this before, I remember, this was 17 years ago, I had that vision. There was an entity in the bedroom. I was laying down with my son, a big white, and maybe there was two of them, I can't remember now, but they showed me the future. It felt like white and dark. and that it was the do like stay in the light. But I think this is so confusing now because there are so many people want to touch with their spirit guides. How do we know that's a good spirit guide? Or how do we know somebody's not a trickster? I mean, so these are really important questions, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I want to go back to the feeling of you have to know yourself first before you reach out. And how you get to know yourself, and at least I know there's many ways. One way is to sit in your heart space. Sit to get to know the light. And I feel personally, when I sit and I practice, it's a practice of sitting, right? It takes me 15 minutes just to get through the laundry list or the grocery list or whatever, and then finally I get to the spot where it's like, oh, now I know that light.
Yes.
And then I have a signal. Everybody will have their own signal. I start seeing like an indigo color. And then it's interesting. I don't know why. I see a man in the indigo. I mean, an outline every single time. And when I know I do that, it kind of looks like that. And let's just say I get this a round circle of indigo. And then this is a little darker, but it's always a positive feeling. And I always feel like I'm there now. That's just my signal.
Yeah.
And I also have a spot to me. I mean, we have different spots where we can gather ourselves better.
Right.
Absolutely. I have a power chair, for instance. And I know you have other things.
I do, right? There's, for me, and for many of us, because I don't think it's one thing,
right?
Like a power chair, although that certainly helps. If I have a space, well, I have a couple of spaces, but I have this table is for cards, and the energy gets kind of wanky because that is a word, wanky, just to let you know.
I know, I get it.
It may not be, but this table has different energies to it because I do my Sunday with Spirit here. I also do political reads here. So my cards have different energies. I would never, well, I can't say never because I'll break that rule. But my Work Your Light cards are not used for politics. Unless I'm trying to see the politician, where do they have to go into the light? How do they get into the light? So certain cards are power cards. Certain cards are political cards, like Mr. Pumpkin deck is, and that's just political. It's goofy, it's silly, it's, anyway. So yeah, certain things do have energy. Nature for me clears out the energy so fast. But it's interesting what you said about going through your laundry list. And it's, when I think of that, it's like sorting the clothes almost.
Yeah.
Yet I can say, I can get rid of these socks. They have holes in them. I can get rid of those. I don't need to think about that when I'm trying to sit in the power, when I'm trying to get into the power. And it's the quiet knowing that it's such a different feeling from any other feeling that I have in my day-to-day, journey. It's powerful. Different voice, different resonance, different everything.
Yeah. And I think that also your closeness to earth, being a shamanic practitioner, you're very in tune to, say, the trees, the water, the earth, the winds, the sun. So that, as I even say that, I feel the energy change.
Mm-hmm.
Even as we're having this conversation and we're talking about spirit, the power of nature and the power of spirit around us as we're having this conversation, I feel the difference shifting because we're calling it in now. Do you feel the tingly? I kind of feel the tingly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a good sign, right?
Let's hope it's not saying we're having a heart attack.
No, that's very good.
No, it is a good sign. It's in just being aware of, because a lot of times we'll go, oh, it's just my foot's, my, what's going on? My something, you just like dismiss it. Oh, it's
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
okay. But if we pay attention to what's going on in the nature of our bodies,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, that's huge.
Yes. To me, one of the signs that you've kind of gone to the dark a little bit, or here, meeting the dark, is nausea and headache. I mean, that, or just in general, like, oh, or even if you question, then that could be a signal.
Mm-hmm. Right.
To trust oneself is so important. To trust, I am, I can, and I do. I am the power. I have the power. I have this higher power that knows everything. It's
Right.
one with everything. And to be aligned with that, then if that's the eyes from which you look, then the world is easier you can tell, you can discern the positive and the negative and the duality on this earth, because there is duality here.
Yes. Yeah. And it's there's the channeler, Esther Hicks Abraham.
Yes, yes.
And she's constantly talking. Abraham, oh, that would never work in Florida. But anyway, Abraham, sorry, big squirrel. Abraham, Abraham is always saying that that we have this contrast to show what we don't want and what we do want. So we focus on, I don't want that anymore, but I do want more of this, bring more of that into our experience.
Yes.
And so that contrast, because sometimes we think we want the stuff that we shouldn't have, like, we take so much from the earth.
Yeah.
Right. We take so much that we don't need.
Yes.
It's just an extra thing that we think is going to make us happy, but we don't need it. And so, how do we be efficient in our utilizing what the planet is giving us, instead of just being greedy and taking.
Yeah. Yes. That's a whole different energy.
Whole different energy with that. Yeah. So if you walk on the earth with respect and with a lightness on the planet, it feels much different than if you walk with just a heaviness of, what more can I take from you?
Yeah, right. And
without giving anything back.
Yes. And not only earth, but people, right? People do the same thing to people. Yes. What can I take from you? Yeah. So it's the same. It's a kind of an ugly energy, kind of that dark side of what we have in humanity.
Right.
But the more we practice knowing what the light is, and the easier it is to stay there. And then let's just say also knowing, okay, for instance, certain areas are obviously going to carry a little more negative energy. Let's just pretend we're in a conference room. You're going to walk into a conference room. Just pretend you walk in and you got the big long table, and you walk in, and let's just say, Putin is sitting at the end of the table. Now, how does that feel?
Oof. Well, as soon as you said that, because I thought you were going to start off with something, nice and lovely, and you said Putin, and I recoiled. I
Yeah,
recoiled when you
yeah,
said,
yeah. So you
and
see,
it's
instant.
yeah, and it's just his energy, what he is doing
Yeah,
right now for me. I mean, there could be other things that he has done in the past that are horrific, but this energy right now, I
yeah,
just recoil.
yeah, yeah.
So
Okay, let's switch it. We got the got you. Let's
please,
take that out. Whew, clear it away, and we're going to walk into a room again. It's a different room. You're walking to a different conference room, and let's say even the conference room smells nice. Let's say it smells like flowers, and it's maybe light blue on the wall. And at the head of the table is Gandhi. So just
yeah.
imagine sitting with Gandhi or Jesus at the table. Notice that peace. At least it feels that way to me.
And don't say now it's time to go, because I'm just gonna hang here
Yeah,
all
let's
day.
just, who else do we want at the table now? Danny, who do you want to invite?
I am, I am really happy with just these two.
Oh, okay.
But it's I don't want to say it's overwhelming, but it just fills my soul up. And it's like, how much more do you want?
Yeah.
Look at this. It's great. Now, if they go, oh, I'm late, I've got a meeting, I gotta go. We're gonna have somebody else come in. So who do you want to come in? Who would I want? I would want a galactic star being, and I would want Mother Mary.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's just see that. Yep. Interesting. They feel at one to me
Yeah,
when you
they
did
do.
that.
Me too.
They feel like one. And getting that one feeling, because if we are really all one, then to feel into that, how beautiful that could be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, no, you're one more for you. Okay, they got to go. They're on a spaceship. They got things to do, places to go,
Mhm.
and they're asking you, who would you want?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
And you have all your lords, your the higher galactic beings. You have your ancestors. You have your departed loved ones. There's all those that we can bring into this room.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I believe, such a good point. I believe they travel with us because they come from the light. We are the light. It's mind-boggling how it all works, really.
Yeah, yeah,
But sure, I mean, I'm not a religious person, but I do talk to Jesus a lot. I mean, especially for healing,
mm,
because he comes in with the healing hands. And back,
right.
one time he showed me this is what he did. He held the people's head and said, "This is what I did. Do what I do," kind of like that.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Now that's an image,
uh-huh.
laying down in a conference room and having Jesus hold your head.
Yep, yep. Yeah,
I'm going to change the conference room to a massage table, though.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Good, good, good. So,
Wow.
so if we can remember how this feels, we'll know when it doesn't feel like this.
Mm-hmm.
And if we get into trouble, because it's easy to get into trouble, we're just humans. Then what do we do, Danny? What if somehow we get tricked or whatever, and then we can't control it? We've been tricked. Then what? I mean, it's not something to be taken lightly, I think.
No. And just going back to one of the words you said in this last one, being tricked, tricksters, they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, I see you're a trickster.
Right.
No, they're
Yeah.
coming in as your buddy, as your friend. But if they start saying things to you that don't resonate in your mind, right, that don't resonate as truth, and you mentioned this before, you start questioning, you go, really? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Trust me. Trust me.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Exactly. And as more of us in this collective are opening up to spirit, then this is where we have the potential to be, taken away to a different reality that isn't, the best for us.
Right. And people can use, starting out where we started before, the Ouija board, the pendulum, cards. We can start interpreting them in the wrong way because it's still going through this filter.
Yep.
So it's really, really important to,
Mhm.
if something immediately doesn't feel right, to step away from it and then tap into your heart space and see if it's right.
Exactly. Trust yourself. And there are certain people that's what they do. They work on, let's just say I mean, I've had this happen a couple times to me. Just even somebody unconsciously, right? There's either a cord attached or something, and different things happen. And so it helps to have another person help clear it.
Yes.
That may be helpful at times. And
Yes.
so, I mean, even certain things that I think are for specialists, like, okay, for instance, if I had a ghost in my house or something, I would have a specialist to do that. I personally wouldn't really attempt to do anything.
So you wouldn't call me then, would you?
Probably not. No.
Probably. Good idea.
I know it because you have to be well. I mean, why take it? I don't want to, why take a chance, Danny? I would go, it's like I'm not going to call an electrician to come work on my plumbing.
Right. Right. No. And because absolutely, I mean, they're a specialist for a reason, because they know how to deal with the tricksters, the tricks that these entities may or may not play. One of the things that I was reminded of, when they offer you things that maybe sound too good to be true, we've heard that so often. I promise this is going to make you this way. This is going to give you $1 million. This is going to get whatever. You, we have to figure all this out for ourselves. Nobody is going to be able to tell us where the path is, what we need to do. It's just take a look at this and choose your own path.
Yeah. The heart, the solar plexus. So many people, this is their guiding system. Getting in touch to the gut, getting in touch to the heart, and using that as your inner guidance.
Right. And you talk about that all the time in your classes, which you're so brilliant at. The way you tap into any mediumship, I'm going to say style, because I think it's bigger than just talking to departed loved ones, but it's always through the heart. You always tap in heart to heart, soul to soul. So that's where it starts, in the heart space.
That's right. Yeah. Speak from the heart, not from the mind, and know from the soul. You've got to know from the soul. But it's this world that we're navigating through, because we are on a special time. Really, really big time. And so I know we keep saying it, but now it just seems to me more, it's like expanding even more, almost daily, really.
Yeah. And when you look at, I'm not an astrologer, but I listen to them on YouTube.
Yeah.
When you hear them talking about the shift that we're going through, and it's not a light switch, it's kind of a rheostat that we're turning up the light and the brightness, and as we turn that light up, the darkness fades, but we still have to turn that dial. And it's we are in such a special place because we're seeing that dial switch, we're seeing it turn, and
Yeah,
we're part of the collective helping turn that dial, which
I
is
know.
so exciting.
I know. I can really see it. It's in my mind's eye how the earth, the animals, the nature, the people, we are a collective. It's just you can't get away from that.
Right.
And people who think I don't have a reason to be here, I don't have a passion or whatever, could be just to hold light. That's it.
Yeah.
It could, yeah. Could be
Yeah.
just to turn on, just smile at your neighbor. Could be the reason you're here.
Right. Right. And that's so important. Oh my gosh, that's so important because each one of us is has their own light that they're holding, and and that's it. And every light is a little different. So
Yeah.
some may be on all the time. Others may be on then. And wait a minute, I need to like take a nap.
Yeah.
They can't have it on all the time. Some people can have it on all the time.
Mhm.
So it's just acknowledging, just being able to shine whatever light you can.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
that's powerful.
It is powerful. And whether or not you even know it. I mean, I look at the elephants and the whales. I know they are here for healing on the earth, and they have a role. I could just feel the elephants connecting to earth. They hold space of light.
Mhm.
And the whales hold space for the galactic, really. I feel like they're kind of bringing it down.
Right.
So, and do they have to think about it? No, just like, do we have to think about breathing? No, we are. That's just it.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. I think of I think when I think of the whales, because I'm on the Pacific coast and we get to see them traveling up and down the coast. Um, when they dive, I feel, and just in my mind's eye, that if I have a hurt or something that no longer serves me, right, I wrap it up in a little ball of light and love so that I'm not polluting anything. And I used to not do it. I used to pollute the oceans, just go, here, take that hurt, take it away. But now I wrap it in light and love, and I give it a little ball and I toss it into the ocean, and it gets caught on the barnacle of a whale. And that feeds the barnacle, and as the whale drops down, it compresses it to nothing, and then it's just light and love. But
I
the negative is just gone.
Wow, that's a wonderful image.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that you wrap it in a ball of love and light. That's a great image. And whether you take it, you make the ball and you put it in the sky or the water, that's such a wonderful image there.
Yeah. Yeah. I got that from Sandra Ingerman. She was saying on one of her transfiguration classes. So
Yes, yes, yes.
I wish it
Love.
was me that thought of it, but
Yeah. And I've heard of also like putting in a gold, like in a gold package, a gold gift, those things like things that you need to forgive.
yeah.
And you put that in a gold box and you let an angel take that away. That's also pretty powerful too.
That is because all those hurts do help. They do make you a stronger person, even though at the time we may not see it. But so
Yeah.
you give it up as a gift. That's beautiful.
Yes. And to not, so this reminds me too, we want to focus on the positive. Because if we focus on all those things in the box or the ball, well, there we go. We're going to go back in the dark room.
Yes.
And so our job is, and I hear this from Mother Mary a lot too, focus on the light. Just like ignore, just let it go. Anything that doesn't seem of the light, just let it go.
Right.
Because where you focus is what you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Absolutely.
hard though, hard sometimes.
And that's where doing that laundry list
Yeah.
helps to throw away the socks that have holes in them and get into that power. And the more that we sit in that power, the quicker you can get there. The
Yeah.
more we do it, the faster we can get in there.
Yeah.
I've noticed when I was first starting on this journey, and I was thinking about this the other day. I was so into this journey maybe 30 years ago. And then I go, no, I need to focus on material things. I need to get a house. I need to get a job. I need to keep the job. I need to be successful in all that stuff. And then when that ended, this I started this journey again, but it took me longer to sit in the power this time. I had to really go through the laundry list, and it took a while. Now I'm noticing every so often I can just step into it. And
Right.
there is no laundry list.
Yep.
I just step into it. Now other times I go, oh, I got to do the laundry.
Right.
And it takes a while to get in there, but
yeah. So don't be discouraged. I want to tell everybody not to be discouraged if it's not coming that easy. That's why we call it practice.
yeah, right.
I mean, life really is practice, but the more you do it, then the better you get. And then with a clear intention. Yes. And I just want to remind you, let's just imagine now we are surrounded by light right now. Our loved ones we are going into the heart. We have that innate soul of the higher self that's right with us right now. There are all the love, the unconditional love and joy that rejuvenates us. And to allow that light in your heart to shine, to expand from the center out. And know that it'll go where it needs to go. And be where it needs to be. And allow us, and just allow the freedom of each of us to know that it is possible to be in the light and trust oneself, totally, innately. It's our right, it's our human right. And to honor the stillness of your heart. Would you like to say anything, Danny?
No. Thank you, though.
Okay. Blessings.
All right. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you.